Is Facebook watching your every move? This question might seem a bit dramatic, but when you delve into the extent of Facebook's data collection practices, it's not far from the truth. Facebook is not just a social network, it's a data collection powerhouse. Let's take a closer look. One of the primary types of data Facebook collects is personal information. This encompasses anything you willingly provide when creating your profile or updating your status. It includes your name, email, phone number, age, gender, and even your political and religious views. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Facebook also collects location data. Every time you check in at a restaurant, tag a photo with a location, or simply have location services enabled on your device, Facebook is taking note. It's storing information about where you're going, where you've been, and even how long you've stayed there. And then there's your browsing history. Facebook tracks your online activities beyond its platform. Have you ever wondered why you see ads for a product you were just looking at on another website? That's Facebook's tracking cookies at work. They follow you around the web, noting what you're interested in, and feeding that information back to Facebook. Even when you're not using Facebook, it's still collecting data. Many websites and apps use Facebook's services such as like and share buttons, which send information back to Facebook about your activities on these platforms. All of this data collection might seem innocuous on the surface. After all, who cares if Facebook knows what restaurant you dined at last weekend? But when all this data is combined, it paints a very detailed picture of who you are, what you like, where you go, and even what you're likely to do in the future. So the next time you log into Facebook, remember this. Facebook knows more about you than you might think. Have you ever wondered why the ads on Facebook seem eerily relevant? Well, there's a science behind it. A digital mechanism that's as fascinating as it is alarming. Facebook is not just a social network, it's a gigantic ad targeting machine. It collects a wealth of data about you, from your likes and shares to your location and browsing habits. It's not just about who you are, but also what you do, where you go, what you buy, and even what you're thinking about buying. It's like having a personal assistant that takes notes about your life. Except this assistant has a dual role as a salesperson. This collected data is then used for what's known as microtargeting. Imagine being able to divide the entire population into countless segments based on age, location, behavior, interests, and a multitude of other factors. With microtargeting, advertisers can tailor their messages to resonate with very specific demographics, making the ads that pop up on your screen seem uncannily relevant. It's the equivalent of a salesman who knows exactly what to say to make you buy. But as incredible as this technology is, it also has a dark side. It can be and has been misused for political manipulation and spreading disinformation. With micro-targeting, it becomes possible to send tailored messages to specific groups that reinforce their biases, manipulate their opinions, and even influence their voting behavior. And because these messages are so precisely targeted, it's hard to monitor them or hold anyone accountable. Moreover, this ad targeting system feeds on your data. The more you use Facebook, the more data you provide, the better the system becomes at targeting you. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. Your data, your likes, your shares, your comments, your online behavior, it's all a goldmine for advertisers. And this goldmine is what keeps Facebook free to use. So next time you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and you see an ad that seems to know you a little too well, remember this. Your data is a goldmine for advertisers. Did you know that Facebook might be messing with your mind? It's a startling thought, isn't it? But it's one that's backed by a growing body of research. Studies are increasingly linking excessive Facebook use to a range of mental health issues, including anxiety and depression. Imagine the scenario. You're scrolling through your feed, seeing photos of friends on exotic vacations, reading about their promotions, looking at pictures of their seemingly perfect families. It's all too easy to fall into the comparison trap, to feel like everyone else is leading a happier, more successful life. This compare and despair syndrome can lead to feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. But that's not all. The nature of Facebook, and indeed most social media platforms, is inherently addictive. Each like, comment, or share triggers a release of dopamine, the same chemical that's responsible for the pleasure we feel when we eat, exercise, or fall in love. It's this boost of dopamine that keeps us coming back for more, scrolling endlessly, seeking that next hit of social validation. And Facebook's algorithm is designed to feed this addiction. It's a well-oiled machine constantly learning from your behavior to show you more of what you like, keeping you engaged, keeping you scrolling. It's a relentless cycle of clickbait and content designed to keep you hooked. The result? An increase in screen time, a decrease in face-to-face social interaction, and a potential rise in feelings of loneliness and isolation. It's a paradox, isn't it? A platform designed to connect us can end up making us feel more disconnected than ever. And let's not forget about the impact on sleep. Studies have shown that excessive screen time can interfere with our sleep patterns, leading to poorer quality sleep and contributing to feelings of fatigue and low mood. The bottom line, Facebook might be more harmful to your mental health than you realize. It's not just about privacy concerns or ad targeting. It's about the potential impact on our well-being, on our sense of self, on our connection with others. It's a conversation we need to be having for the sake of our mental health. Is Facebook a reliable source of information? Let's delve into this question. Facebook, as one of the most popular social media platforms, has a significant influence on the information we consume. Unfortunately, it has also become notorious for the dissemination of fake news and misinformation. This issue isn't just about misleading headlines or sensationalized stories, it's about the real-world consequences that can result from such misinformation. Let's take a moment to recall a few instances where false information on Facebook led to dire consequences. One of the most prominent examples occurred during the United States presidential election of 2016. Misinformation ran rampant, with fabricated stories garnering more engagement than real news from reputable sources. This phenomenon didn't just skew public opinion, it threatened the very integrity of democratic processes. Another instance, closer to home for many, is the spread of health misinformation. During the COVID-19 pandemic, false health advice and conspiracy theories proliferated on Facebook, leading to public confusion and mistrust in health authorities. This misinformation has tangible, life-threatening consequences, inhibiting efforts to control the virus and prolonging the global health crisis. Facebook has made efforts to combat fake news, but these have largely been unsuccessful. They've implemented fact-checking measures and algorithms to detect and remove false content. However, these systems are far from perfect. They often fail to catch misinformation before it goes viral, and even when they do, the damage is often already done. Additionally, these algorithms can't account for the subtleties and nuances of human language, leading to false positives and negatives. Moreover, Facebook's business model, which prioritizes engagement and user retention, often amplifies sensational and controversial content, including misinformation. This creates a vicious cycle where fake news is not just present but actively promoted. In conclusion, while Facebook might be a hub for connecting with friends and family, it is far from a reliable source of information. The platform is riddled with misinformation, and its efforts to combat this issue have been largely ineffective. Facebook is a breeding ground for misinformation. So, should you delete your Facebook account? Let's take a moment to recap what we've covered so far. We've delved into the privacy paradox where, despite our concerns for personal privacy, we continue to share intimate details about our lives on Facebook. We've learned how Facebook's ad targeting machine uses our data to create comprehensive profiles about us, influencing not just what ads we see, but also manipulating our behaviors and preferences. We've explored the mental health impact, the ways in which Facebook can contribute to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and depression. We've seen how Facebook can be a breeding ground for fake news, spreading misinformation, and contributing to political polarization. Now the big question is, do the benefits of using Facebook outweigh these significant risks? That's a question only you can answer, but it's important to make an informed decision. Sure, Facebook can be a great tool for staying connected with friends and family, for organizing events, and for sharing moments of joy. But it's also clear that the platform has serious issues with privacy, mental health impacts, and the spread of misinformation. Moreover, there are alternatives to Facebook. There are social media platforms that prioritize user privacy, that don't rely on ad targeting to the same extent, and that have robust measures in place to combat the spread of fake news. It's important to think critically about our social media use. How is it affecting you? Is it enhancing your life, or is it causing stress, anxiety, or depression? Are you comfortable with the amount of personal information you're sharing and how it's being used? No one can make this decision for you. It's about weighing the pros and cons, considering your own values and priorities, and making the choice that feels right for you. Remember, your privacy, mental health, and access to reliable information are too important to be compromised.